Guys, welcome to another exciting episode of YouTube channel, and we've got Sean's Toyota Crown and we're going to be putting some new wheels on, which are just I'm going to show you in a minute, to see how much lower and how much more camber we're going to need. Sean's behind the camera very kindly recording. Let's come and look at the wheels. So Sean doesn't like a sound of his voice apparently, so I don't know if he's going to tell you, but the specs, they're 19s, 9.5 and 10.5. And they are ET20, both of them, are they?
Yeah, 22s.
22, and yeah, I think that's it. We've got 235, 35 on the front, and we've got 255, 30 on the rear. That's for the wheel geeks. So I'm gonna put it on the ramp, and then yeah, we'll see how it sits. Go from there. So that's the wheels and the tyres in its glory. I prepared some tyres on it earlier, and then they are work copies, SP1 or SSR. I've made the same design, exactly the same design as I've got on my JZX. They're a little bit dirty from all the tyre paste and stuff, but we're going to take the old wheels off, we're going to put these on, and fingers crossed it's going to sit and fit quite nicely. It's gonna be nice, man, obviously. Well, we'll put the other side on. We're gonna lower it, see how it sits. And then we can maybe adjust the coilovers, lower them a little bit.
I wonder if it's even gonna need to.
Yeah, we'll see. So there you have it. It will need some more work. We've got about, I don't know, it looks about 50mm gap, and that's probably the same on the rear, maybe a little bit more. So I hope we've got enough adjustment on the coilovers. We need to dial in some camber as well. That's not bad, eh? I mean, it's nearly in. So it's got some stock arms, obviously, so we're going to try and dial in some camber on the stock. Just show you, got a bit of an obstacle course going on here, and that's the rear. And we are gonna put as much camber on the car as we can. We'll do that right now. I'm going to show you, if you're interested, where you adjust the camber on a JZS or even a Lexus chassis, as well as a JZX. On the front is this bottom. You've got these eccentric bolt there. Also same on this side. It's, you sort of crack it, undo it on this side here, and then you turn it. It's 21mm, and it sort of makes the arm shorter and longer. So that changes the camber on the front. And on the rear, same thing is this one here. So we're going to dial in as much camber as possible and see where it sits. You can see here we've got about, I would say it's probably 30mm to play with on the front, and there's a little bit more on the rear. So fingers crossed Sean doesn't need new coilovers to VRP style. What are you thinking, man?
I don't know what, I mean, maybe it will act differently when it's a bit lower, maybe.
Sorry?
It'll act a bit differently when it's lower, I think, won't it?
Yeah, but yeah, it will naturally, as you lower the car, you can see it when you squat. The wheel comes in.
Yeah.
think the rear definitely came in.
Yeah.
It seems to have a bit of a toe to it now as well.
Well, it's completely possible, isn't it? There's a separate arm underneath. Yeah. It's like...
Yeah, that's cool. Now, I reckon we should try and lower it.
Yeah. Yeah, so then we can't get it back on the ramps again.
Huh?
So we can't get it back on the ramps again.
Yeah. Alright, let's lower it. So on this type of coilover, you don't change the height by sort of winding the bottom piece in. It's literally just by changing the preload, like a sort of cheaper style, even though they are teen or tame. So we'll need to crack this, hopefully, yeah. Luckily it's not rusty or corroded at all.
So does this change the spring rate of the car as well then?
The preload, not the rate. The rate stays the same.
So the lower you go doesn't mean it's going to be more bouncier then?
No. Now we can measure this bit here that tells us how much lower we've gone, and then we just lower this bit and then lock it in place. And we just get the measuring device. 30 mil, you reckon? We'll try that?
Yeah, yeah.
It's the same.
Yeah, I'm kind of speechless.
That's not bad, is it?
It's gorgeous. Just get yourself a little... I think it's actually sitting on it. Yeah.
Oh man. It's a little bit more dialing. I think you're going to be a fitment king, mate.
I mean, we could probably maybe just mess around with the camber bit on the inside, but then the toe's probably not helping it either, is it? So... Ooh, one finger. That's all you're allowed, isn't it? One finger.
That's it.
Otherwise she tells you off.
I reckon we could probably come up on the front. What do you think?
Yeah. I did say it's a bit weird, but the front seem like they're going lower than the rears, but it's probably normal anyways. Look at that on the rear left though.
Got a new day. Sean's not here, it's only me because he's busy working, making some dollar. And I'm going to raise the front and I'm going to raise one of the rears, because obviously sometimes, even though you think it would sort of sit the same when you got the same height on the coilover, it's not always the case, because it obviously depends on the weight distribution of the car. That's why you should always have a corner balancing, but we don't have that sort of facility. So I'm just going to raise the front, as I said, raise the front and the rear, so we can try and move the car. And I think next time we're going to probably roll the arches. Sean does have some arms coming from the front, so perhaps we might need to use it as well, get some more camber in. I've been playing about a little bit. I think it sits just about where it needs to be. We've got one finger at the front. We've got no fingers at the rear, which I think will be fine once we roll the lip. And on the other side, I think that's the only issues. The only issue we've got is that it doesn't really go low enough, unfortunately. I think we've got 1.5 fingers going in there. It doesn't go any lower, so what I've suggested to Sean is on the coilover you've got 2 little collars. One of them is to lock it in place, but since we go in all the way down, there's absolutely no reason to lock it, so perhaps take the coilover apart and get the locking collar out, which will give us about another, I would say about 7 mils, that locking collar, maybe 8 mil drop, because we can then wind it a bit lower than that. And I sort of adjusted the toe just by eye, so we can actually move the car around. So let's drop it from the ramp, move it into the sunlight, take some pictures for Sean and the thumbnail, and next up we'll be rolling the arches. I'm done for today. I'm gonna wait for Sean to make up his mind on what we're gonna do. Obviously we need the arches rolled. I'm gonna be using a mallet instead of the arch roller there. I just think that thing is a bit too brutal and you don't have as much control as you would with a rubber mallet. Get some heat into the paint. Hopefully it'll keep it nice and warm so the paint doesn't crack, so we don't have to paint anything. I said to Sean, I think it needs to go a little bit lower on the front there, which means we might need to remove the arch liner. He's got camber arms, as we said, so that's okay. We can tack in a little bit more. And on the rear, I would remove that collar on that side, so we get a little bit more loose and save some money. And I think he will be rolling just nice with these collars. I don't think he needs a new one. But Sean wants to do everything perfect, which is fine. So we'll see what he wants to do. So I'm going to close the video here. We will see you next time with this one, that one, on my car. And if you want to support the channel, you know, links in the description, like, subscribe, and do all that business. Thank you, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.